This is an attack on the poor. This is an attack on us. If you wanted those conditions to improve, you would accept $3.6 million. You would approve that if you cared. But clearly you don't. And if you did care, a good faith-based effort, Jackie, you would have already put those sidewalks in. But you're saying to everybody that you don't care. You're trying to make it look like Scott Bryan don't care. That ain't the truth. This man's came to you guys twice, a full-on presentation, and you've rejected him right to his face 2 times. He's gone, above and beyond the call of duty of what any developer would have to go through. And if the biggest problem that people keep saying about Meadow Creek is that there's drug activity, well, if we're going to get rid of the drug activity, then we need to get rid of the drug activity in the Warsaw Police Department. That's right. There's drug activity within the Warsaw Police Department. So, how are you? That's hypocritical. You're going to sit there and say, get rid of... there's drug activity on city council. You're going to say, get rid of the drug activity when you're going to go home and do your drugs. Come on, man. That's so ridiculous. What's the real reason that you want to get rid of Meadow Creek, Jackie? They've been a thorn in your side? Is that why when they cross your yard, you're out there with a shotgun... ready to blow someone's head off? And that don't seem very tactful. Kid walks by on your yard and you're going to bring a shotgun out? And from what I hear, you're not very respectful of Meadow Creek. I guess, some of your family's like driving four-wheelers all around doing donuts and just having a good old time like they own Meadow Creek, like that's their land or something. There's a double standard going on right here. Not to mention there are women and children over there. There are single mothers working full-time jobs, raising their kids. And you're going to run them out. You're going to sit there and let that whole place just fall down and decompose until it's no more. You don't care about women and kids. The city council, the city of Warsaw, does not care about women and kids. They do not care. And more about the sidewalk. With the soccer moms from Meadow Creek, from reports out of Meadow Creek, the soccer moms are flying down that road. It's supposed to be 20 miles per hour, but they're booking it. They're going as fast as they can. So it's not Meadow Creek. We don't need to be afraid of Meadow Creek. Meadow Creek needs to be afraid of us. Maybe we should catch up to Petersburg, Kentucky, and just put a big sign that says "No blacks allowed." And if the school's in need of more classrooms and teachers, well, that isn't just the city's problem, that's the county's problem, that's the state's problem. What we want is more people, and we want more business. We want more commerce, and we want a better economy. We want jobs. And right now, you keep on cutting businesses out, you keep cutting apartments out. I mean, you just keep cutting your own tax revenue, but you're also cutting opportunities for everybody. In order to get a job, people got to drive all the way out to Florence, so they got to go somewhere else because there's no jobs around here. Just with all this money from the Obama stimulus, maybe Meadow Creek should check out Sparta or Glencoe or Napoleon. And maybe Sparta, Glencoe, and Napoleon could look into getting into some of the Obama stimulus funds so they could build schools over there. I'm sure somebody around here has got to have some type of sanity, some sort of, logical and reasonable way of thinking. $3.6 million. You're going to say no to $3.6 million. For free, just say yes. Do you want $3.6 million to be invested in the community? Yes, I do. That ain't so hard. Yes. Keith Jones and Jamie Gould were on the right track, but instead the other four said no to it. And because of this, they should not be re-elected. I think with the way that the city council has been running, I would like to see them all replaced. We don't need any of them in office. They are depriving our community of our citizens of a place to stay. And once you run people out of Meadow Creek, where are they going to go? Do you care? Do you care where they go? Where are they going to live? And if anybody new wants to come into town, where are they going to live? And I guess because all this talk in city council, because there's so much drug activity, that's why police are going over to Meadow Creek, and they keep on harassing and raiding innocent people over there. What's the deal? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You say there's drug activity, you go over there, you find one person that might have a joint on them, and then boom. It doesn't even matter if that person lives there or not. They could just be visiting somebody. But you find one person, then you say, ha, I told you. But I've looked in the courthouse report. How many people from Meadow Creek have you charged with possession? How many people from Meadow Creek has actually gone to jail? It was reported in the Gaunce County News quite a while ago. But Travis Simpson had got mad at somebody because he was like, how dare you break the news in front of public like this? How dare you bring that up to me? City council is where we're supposed to have a public discussion. That's where the people are supposed to be able to talk about the town's issues and the problems and what's going on. But nobody goes to the city council meeting, and that's by design. It's by design, because if nobody goes to the city council meeting, then they can do whatever they want to do. And if you do go, just watch how it happens. Travis Simpson wants something, he'll pitch it for about an hour and just take up everybody's time until eventually it gets passed. If he does it, then he's like, y'all want to vote? No? Okay, done. And the city council goes along with that. If he's talking for an hour, all city council is just looking up to, their big daddy. They're just looking up to, God Almighty himself and being like, oh man, you're so wonderful. And since city council is just carbon copying whatever the mayor says, since they're just rubber stamping whatever the mayor says, why do we even have a city council? Why not just let Travis do whatever he wants to do? Why even have these people elected? I mean, talk about waste of tax dollars. There's no public discussion. They go into closed court, closed sessions. You don't know what's being talked about. They're talking about these issues beforehand. You don't know what they're talking about. Then they put on their little dog and pony show in front of the public. Well, so far they've gotten away with it. Yeah, but it's pretty interesting that first they started out and it was about Jackie Giles not liking Meadow Creek being right next to him. But now they're talking about the sidewalks. That's like the biggest issue Jackie Giles was talking about. And then Brandon Terrell is talking about the school system. These ain't the real reasons. No way. These are excuses. The real reason, they are singling out Meadow Creek. They got a bias against Meadow Creek. And if you think they're just going to stop at Meadow Creek, think again. Yeah, and if you really cared about the students at the high school or at the middle school, whenever they sign petitions to get longer locker room breaks, 3 minutes is not enough to go from one end of the school to the other end of the school. That's not enough. They need longer locker room breaks. And one kid got 120 signatures with Principal Beeger ripping it up to shreds, saying, you know what, there is no freedom, there is no democracy, you don't have a say-so in here, this is my prison and I'm the warden. That's what the school systems represent. And I was valedictorian in 2000 in the school system. I know exactly how it is. They teach obedience. They teach compliance. They don't teach independence. They don't teach the students how to empower themselves. They just teach them, do as I say, sit down, shut up, and that's it. They don't inspire. They don't inspire curiosity. Yeah, there's actually a report of the Warsaw Police Department confiscating marijuana and putting it in their private locker. What would it be in your private locker for? Why isn't it in the evidence room? And so that's why city council do what they do. They already got their minds made up before they even go into the meeting. So it doesn't matter what the public says. It doesn't matter what anybody goes in there and says. And that's why no one shows up to the meetings, because they know that their voice won't matter. But that's why we all got to go to the meetings. We've got to pack City Hall. We've got to pack City Hall and stare at them, and whenever they say stuff that we don't like, we need to cause an uproar. We need to be like, what the hell? What are you all doing? That ain't right. You guys are not treating the citizens of Warsaw correctly, and it's got to stop. So basically, if you want to get something done, it's Travis Simpson. Go to Travis Simpson. He's the boss. He's the boss. City council's his children. So you go to the boss, give him whatever it is he wants, and he'll pitch it for you, and then you'll get what you want. Even though Travis Simpson has no vote, he's the one that dictates what gets passed in city council and what does not. And there's supposed to be some special meeting coming up next Monday. Who knows what's that about? Who knows what's really going on there?